Welcome to Annoyed Gamer episode 10, my fellow gaming militants. 'Tis I, Marcus Beer, coming at you live-ish over the interwebs from the King's Head in Santa Monica, home of the best British breakfast in Los Angeles. Today I will be partaking of a bacon and egg butty. If you're British, you'll know what that is. If you're Welsh, you'll really know what that is. If you're European or anything else, it's a sandwich, and a really good one too. Let's crack on. All right, first up this week, as you probably know, the good doctors Ray and Greg from BioWare have retired. I do that because I don't think they've officially retired. I think this is probably something they've had in place ever since they took the filthy money of EA a couple of years ago, and I think they've always had plans to move on. Do I think that they are retiring? I hope to God not. You know why? Because while it's great to go off and brew beer, can't fault that, losing Ray and Greg from the games industry would be a friggin' tragedy. These guys have created some of the best franchises, especially in the RPG universe, over the last 10, 15 years, in my opinion. You look at Dragon Age, you look at Mass Effect, even look what they did with the Old Republic. Those guys obviously give a shit about games, and losing them would be a disaster, to be honest with you. Am I surprised that they're going? No, especially in light of Frank Gibbo, or the Gibbon, as I'm going to call him because he's a monkey. Frank Gibbo's comments a couple of weeks ago about single-player experiences and not wanting to do them. I think it's no coincidence that in Mass Effect and Dragon Age in particular, we've seen the invasiveness of Facebook and Twitter and tacked on multiplayer and this and that and the other, and almost to the detriment of the single player. I'll be honest with you, Mass Effect 3 single player did not feel as good as Mass Effect 2 to me. And Dragon Age 2, well, it'd be interesting to see how Dragon Age 3 performs when it comes out, but I've got a funny feeling we will be logging into Facebook and Twitter just to unlock our basic armor if Frank Gibbo has his way. So anyway, Ray and Greg, you guys are fantastic. You give a shit about games. I really hope you come back. If you don't, well, enjoy your retirement, and while you're crafting some beers, have one with me. All right, next up, another popular question this week. I keep on getting asked about HD remakes, particularly on the PS3, and considering I got sent a few of them over the last couple of weeks in Ratchet & Clank, God of War, and a couple of others, I think it's time to talk about this. HD remakes serve a purpose, and that purpose is to, in this case, really give Sony money. Because you remember when, the PS2 was announced, oh, it'll have backwards compatibility with the PS1. And then when the PS3 was announced, that, oh, it will have backwards compatibility with the PS2 and the PS1 and anything else that, you've ever bought from Sony. And that really didn't turn out to be too accurate, did it? Reason being, it's, it's complicated to do X, Y, and Z. No, it's basically so that you can rebuy games 5, 10 years later, whether they be online or with a lick of paint. Now, some of the games, they stand the test of time, they do look better in HD, but anybody who thinks that this is just an altruistic chance for people to go back because they're great games, you're smoking something very weird. This is all about money. This is the reason you don't get backwards compatibility, and this is why you won't really get backwards compatibility on the PS4 or the Xbox 720. So we're gonna have to buy a bunch of games over and over again. If you do want backwards compatibility, do what I do. Play everything on PC, because it's fantastic. Okay, on to this week's rant, and this is something that has been an issue for me for years as a PR person and as a journalist. I am talking about review scores and Metacritic and content aggregators and all that fun stuff. I am so sick to the back teeth of review scores. It's gone from being an accurate portrayal of what a game is really worth to basically a bunch of assholes giving games review scores on the low end because they know they'll generate some controversy and they'll generate some hits to their pathetic little site, and they will get paid extra for it. I will throw out Borderlands 2 as a prime example. Borderlands 2 has been getting pretty much universal acclaim. A couple of review scores, however, came in on the low end. Obviously, as the public and as a journalist and as a PR person, I really can't understand what the difference is between a 9.6 and a 9.5. Whether it be 77% or 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10. There are so many different ways of reviewing this. For me, it's really, really confusing. I think it's totally superfluous, and we should all switch to a rent, buy, or bin. I think it would be so much easier. Rent it, buy it, bin it. Read the reviews. Because then people look at the bottom and they'll say, all right, okay, so it's a rent. Oh, why is it a rent? Blah, blah, blah. They'll go back and read. Do we really need to have systems in place where developers have to sign contracts based on their Metacritic score? There are probably some developers out there right now whose Metacritic is probably 86%, which is great. I'm on track for my bonus because I came in at over 86. And then 2 or 3 little tosspots who work for sites decide to come out with the 7.5s and the 6.2s or whatever just to be controversial. And all of a sudden that poor person's developer's metric is down to 8.2. And guess what? No bonus for you. Yeah, you worked 80 to 100 hours, especially in the last 6 months, without hardly any breaks. You got a divorce? Well, that's good for you. You're going to get a bonus? No. Publishers, they don't care. They're going to sell. Journalists have power. We do. We are opinion makers. We also have a responsibility to be fair, not to be controversial, not to be dicks about it. We have to encourage the developers to do better. If a game deserves a bad score, I'm all for it. Hell, I'll be leading the charge and giving everybody a halftime orange. If a game is good and is getting 92s, 93s across the board, or really, buy, whatever it should be, and then you come in with a 7.5, you're a tit. So anyway, that's my rant. Metacritic, review scores, and I know it's ironic, I'm on a site called GameTrailers, and GameTrailers reviews games on the 10-point score, but how cool is it that GameTrailers actually lets me spout my shit week after week, or don't even mind it when I rag on them too. As always, follow me on the Twitter because it's a great way to send me questions, or you can do it via the GT forums or the Annoyed Gamer forums. I am Marcus Beer, I am in the pub, and it's breakfast time. Later.